What are some of the approaches that coaches still use today you feel really truly don't connect with the students, don't really work at all?
Yeah, the first one is just drawing stuff up on a whiteboard to a class of 40 students right after they got out of periods 1 through 7 or a whole day of academic learning. You turn your back to, you're yelling at the whiteboard like it's one of your players, and you're like, and now you need the down block here. And meanwhile, the kid who you're telling needs the down block, this three technique on the whiteboard, is totally zoned out. He's not paying any attention. And then the other half of the classroom has no idea what the three technique is. The other half doesn't know what a down block is. And like three kids have any idea what you're talking about. And of those three, one of them is paying attention. So you capture the attention of 1 out of 40 kids in that room. That's just not the way kids learn anymore, unfortunately. They still have to draw football plays. We still have to do stuff on the whiteboard, but we have to get that base level of knowledge to them some other way than what we're doing right now. Another one is the PowerPoint presentations. As a young coach, I was told over and over and over again, I have got to come up with like the best PowerPoint presentations. I've got to display them to our students, and I've got to get them engaged in it. Well, everyone in America can create an AI generated PowerPoint in 10 seconds now, and the students are doing it, and they're not engaged in PowerPoints anymore. They're not engaged in, here's the three parts of our culture that you use the PowerPoint designer to create. They want to look you in your eyes. They want to hear it from you. They want to hear your voice change, your inflection change. And unfortunately, but this is just a reality, they kind of want to do it on their own time. So I can now make that video of, hey, here is what it means to be an eagle. I can make that with my PowerPoint that I created 5 years ago because I was told I had to. But then I can look them right in their eyes through the phone screen and say, I need you to keep your locker clean. I need you to be on time to everything we do. I need you to be in uniform. Whereas when we do that in front of the classroom now with our PowerPoint and our monotone voices, because we're tired too, it just doesn't connect at all.
What do you think is so effective about taking a 3 to 5 minute video that the AI then chunks it into little bite-sized pieces, and then as the students go through it, it hits them with remind, like it almost like repeats the content if they miss it. Why do you feel like that kind of package into the familiar TikTok style works for the students?
Just because that's the way they're learning things right now. I think of two really simple examples. Literally last night, I had to change my sprinkler heads. I've never done it before in my life. I go to YouTube, I type in how to change a sprinkler head, and I literally just looked for the shortest video. I saw one video was 14 minutes long, 0% chance I'm watching that. One was 2 minutes long. I watched it, and I changed my sprinkler heads perfectly last night. So the students are doing the exact same thing. They don't want to watch a 20-minute install on Inside Zone. They want to watch a 2-minute install on Inside Zone. So that's like the first example I think of when I think of why this is working. The second one is, I don't know how everyone else's school in the country is, but in the courtyard, I walk down and all I hear kids talking about is politics, what's going on in the world with the current events and all that stuff. And I know for a fact, none of them are actually sitting down and watching the news, and none of them are reading any sort of primary sources or anything that would actually be teaching them about the current events in the world. They're watching YouTube shorts or TikTok reels, but they can now take 30 seconds of content that they have watched and engaged in on these social media platforms and expound upon them and argue for 30 minutes at lunch about it. And so if that's how they're learning politics, if that's how they're learning opinions and current events, then that's how they're going to be learning football now too, or any sport. So we need to engage that learning style.
So if you think about how Snack works, where it takes really any form of content and chunks it into bite-sized pieces. If you picture building a house, when you go to build a house, you're going to lay a foundation. And then when you build the walls, it's going to go brick by brick, if you think about it. And the way the content works and the way you would build anything really isn't by just, putting it all out there all at once.
Right.
Everything builds upon a foundation and then brick by brick. And that's how the information is presented in Snack. When you do your game plans, your play installs, it's like a brick by brick building of the house that your team plays the football.
Well, even the way that you guys have designed it, I love so much. You have your option to make a snack an essential. So the second someone onboards into your team or your program, these are the essential tenets of what it means to be a Jupiter Christian Eagle in our case. Here's our base offense, here's our base defense, here's our base special teams and our culture. Right when you drop into snack, you're going to get those things. And then, so that's the foundation of the house that you're talking about. And then you have the assignments, which is like, all right, now let's start putting the walls up. Let me assign you these a little bit more detailed game plans or scouting reports, or let's add on to our base install. And you need to know this by next Monday, so I'm going to assign it. So you guys have already built in the structure of going brick by brick so that it's actually retained and able to be used on the field. It's not just this content dump that then they get on the field and they forget it all and it was pointless.
Yeah, we don't learn in 45 minutes.
No.
Like we learn in 30-second to 2-minute chunks. And that's how we build our skills. It happens over time.
Yeah. I even think of the Glacier clinics when we were selling at them. I wonder what Snack is going to do to the future of those sorts of events. I go into a Glacier event. I'm listening to a coach that I admire. I can't wait to hear from him. And if I'm being honest with myself, and probably if you guys are being honest with yourselves, you listen for about 3 minutes, you get a really good idea, you start writing it down, or you start thinking about something, or you drift off into la la land, and then you re-engage in another 4 or 5 minutes. Well, that's where Snack solves the problem. Like, you can't really drift off. You have to stay engaged. And then once that 3 minutes is over, okay, I can now go do whatever I need to do. Maybe I'm inspired, so I make another play or I write something down, and then I go into another video, as opposed to just having to sit there and engage with this content for 45 minutes to an hour or however long it might be. We just don't do that.